Hello, everyone, and welcome again to our channel. Today, we are lucky enough to have an amazing sailor, and we will talk about the America's Cup, what happened between Luna Rossa and Ineos Britannia, and to understand a little bit also the next chapter of the America's Cup with the attended final with Team New Zealand and Ineos Britannia. So let me introduce you, Maximilian Küester. He's an amazing sailor. He did a lot of World Championships. So Max, please introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Max. I sailed for Italy, even though I'm half Italian, half German. And I grew up on an Optimist. I did 2 World Championships there for Italy. I won twice the Italian team racing championship, Italian champion. Then I went on lasers. I got a bronze there at Worlds. Then a small season on 420s where I made it to Worlds. And after that, I went to college in the US where I did college sailing, participating in 4 times at nationals while obtaining my degree in mathematics. And after that, a Master of Engineering from Cornell University in Operations Research and Information Engineering. After that, a little bit of 470s, and then that was my ramp onto the tactician role on J70s and Swan 45. Right now, I'm involved on Cape 31, Smeralda 888 with Matteo, Swan 42 with which we won the Giraglia last year, and Italia 1198. And also I do some offshore racing with the Figaros. I did Giro d'Italia Vela, so around Italy with Figaro 3s, won a leg there. And last year I achieved one of my bucket list items. I crossed Atlantic doing the arc, which was a lot of fun with an amazing group.
So let's talk a little bit and let's go a bit deep inside our topic of today. So, for us as Italians, we had the sad news that Luna Rossa have lost the chance to participate to the America's Cup to try to win against Team New Zealand. What do you think about what Luna Rossa did this year? I mean, the British team was really stronger, more capable than us. We did a bit of mistakes because, in fact, from the last interviews that we did with the sailmaker from Orient Express and with Pietro, the engineer that, in fact, is specialized in hydrofoil design. Something that came out from both is that what was happening on Luna Rossa was a little bit by mistake of the crew. But what's your perspective as a sailor? So let's get another perspective on the races.
Sure. So first of all, I think it was such a tight race, such good racing. Some of them were really amazing, like race 5 and race 6. Was such a great time to watch these guys really, really fighting until the last bit with amazing performances on both sides. I think it was a great effort for Luna Rossa with a great campaign with a great group, and you could really tell that they were one big machine working together with one common goal. So shouts out for that, and really well done. Congratulations for their effort.
I agree.
Um,
Yes, they work.
yeah. Also, Britannia, they came out of a campaign that wasn't that successful as the one of Luna Rossa, but they found their equilibrium, I think, and had such great progression. And I really hope to see more of them, and I hope their learning curve stays steep to go challenge the defender with a good chance of winning, I think. Anyways, going back to your question, as I was saying, I studied mathematics. I have this scientific background, so I did some pseudoscience to analyze the performances of the boats in the final of the Louis Vuitton Cup. And one striking thing that probably is obvious to everyone was how heavily the outcome of the race would depend on the start. So out of the, let's consider just the races that were completed, and let's not talk too much about the breakdowns and what if without the breakdowns. I'm sure you already talked a lot about that, but let's consider the 9 races that were completed, where the boats stayed in one piece. So out of those 9 races, I gave 6 starts to Ineos and 3 to Luna Rossa, where one was really, really tight. I gave it to Ineos just because I think they were a little bit ahead, but it was really a tie. So out of this, you could see that winning the start was really a good predictor for winning the actual race. In fact, out of these starts that Ineos won, these 6 starts, 5 of them ended up in a victory for Ineos and 1 for Luna Rossa, while all starts that Luna Rossa won ended up in a win for Luna Rossa. So big part of the start in this cup, and I think we're going to see a dynamic quite like that also in the finals between New Zealand and Ineos. In fact, during the normal races, so let's not see the one that was abandoned or the breakdowns, there were no lead changes. So who ended up being in front stayed in front.
Okay. What Luna Rossa was missing to make good starts, because they were able every time to lose themselves somewhere, starting good to go to the start line and then losing themselves around. Apart of this the couple of episodes where they were blocked by Ineos, but on the other hand, please explain me what's going on there.
So if we're looking at the starts of Luna Rossa and Ineos, we can see that the 2 teams had 2 different strategies. So Luna Rossa is always aiming to keep the right side of the course, the right hand side of Ineos, and Ineos lets them do it. In fact, they actually, when they were in a right side position, they would circle to let Luna Rossa go and make that typical sail along the boundary, going downwind, trying to find that ley line to go and hit upwind and get a good time to the line to cut the line on the starboard side. So Luna Rossa really wanted to have that right-hand side, while Ineos was okay with giving it to them and being leeward boat on the first tack. In fact, every start we saw, Luna Rossa is doing this downwind sail, and then we can see, I'm making... these are thoughts of mine. I don't know. You should ask Keko and James if that is actually what was going on. But I had the impression that with the software that was giving them information to the time to kill, sometimes maybe due to the sea state, the acceleration wasn't really properly calculated. So they ended up also late. Sometimes you saw some races, they were really late, even though from the comms they were having, they thought to be right with their setup in the beginning, really from the far back, from the boundary of the field. So that for sure played a role in what then adjustments to the positions would be. So we're seeing Luna Rossa starting on the right and wanting the right of the course that looked favorable, and for sure wanting that first tack leeward of Ineos when hitting the first boundary. That didn't really happen that often. They were not able to, make that happen and get a strong position from the right after the second tack upwind coming back. In fact, they had to early tack away before hitting the boundary, not putting Ineos in that unfavorable position of being that windward and a little bit more in the back boat, giving them a little bit of gas and trying to, making them have 2 tacks. It only happened 1 time out of the 9 races that we're looking at. So I think probably it's a strategy that when doing a lot of races in the simulator on the long run would pay off. And in fact, if you're looking at the outcomes of the races, Luna Rossa had the upper hand out of that position quite some times. But in the execution, with the mistakes, maybe driven by the data that was misleading from the race software, and ended up not being the strategy that brought them to the final in the America's Cup.
Okay, thanks for this analysis. Maybe what comes to my mind is that also Ineos have Ben Ainslie at the helm. He's a very good sailor. He's the most decorated, let's say, Olympic sailor. Maybe the strategy, since it have worked well in the preliminary regattas in the round robin, because they were quite good in results. Maybe this didn't work with Ben Ainslie, that was predicting and a little bit what Luna Rossa was going to do. Maybe. What do you think?
Yeah. So when we think about the performances of the boat out of the line, you could argue that Ben Ainslie, being supposedly a better helmsman, would squeeze Luna Rossa away early and not allowing them to fulfill their strategy. So that could be. I don't really know. The boat that is behind and windward suffers from the boat ahead. So I would know if we could state that that could be true. But I looked at the performances of upwind and downwind of the two boats, trying to understand if there is a pattern, if we can, understand something from what happened. And from what I saw, actually, Luna Rossa did a better job upwind. So I counted the seconds, the cumulative seconds that there would be between the boat rounding first and the rounding after. And with this method, Luna Rossa did better on the sum of all upwinds by far. And also, if you look at not just the seconds, but who gained or who lost, Luna Rossa did better on upwind. While on downwind, Ineos did much, much better than Luna Rossa. In fact, on upwind, if you look at the total, Luna Rossa is gaining out of if you consider the 9 races, this is the scope of my analysis. Luna Rossa gains on upwind, on all the upwinds of all the races, of the 9 races, 101 seconds on Ineos. While on the downwind, Ineos gains 87 seconds on Luna Rossa. So for sure, Luna Rossa was doing better upwind than in downwind, and better than Ineos out of, with this analysis that I did. So saying that there was a better helmsman or not is quite difficult, I think. On the straight, I think the performances of the boat were pretty similar. So in fact, when you see the boat going next to each other, they look comparable.
Yeah,
even with choosing different sails or something. So I looked a little bit into how they maneuver. So I did a little analysis of how much time the boats would take, Luna Rossa and Ineos, to get back to the target VMG. And what I found was that I did this on just one race, the first race that Luna Rossa won. I haven't done it on all. But I found that basically, do you want to guess how much time do you think on average the boats take to get back to their target VMG after attack?
Considering that they are attacking, they're bearing away to get speed, and then they are laughing about 10 seconds, maybe.
So I measured more or less I did it empirically. So I was looking at the virtual eye, and from the moment of lowest speed after attack to get back to full speed, the average in attack is 24 seconds, where Ineos in the first race would take 26 seconds on average to get back to VMG target, while Luna Rossa only 20. And in the jibes, the average time to get back to target VMG is 14 seconds, and there the boats were really, really close. So I think that it is actually a major factor that we should look at a little bit more as the time spent not at 100% VMG is 25% of the race time. So I think it is a decisive factor to be able to have a boat, to have a crew that is able to get the boat back to target VMG quicker than the other boat.
Okay, wow. Thanks for this impressive and incredible analysis. So I think you gave me and you gave us to all our audience one of the most detailed analysis about those 9 races that led to the winning of Britannia. Now, on the other hand, there is the next race, and since it's not yet a topic that we can really talk about, in my opinion,
So,
Britannia can suffer maybe a lack of experience instead of the of Team New Zealand in racing this kind of boats.
I think that the momentum can play a big role in these situations. You know, Britannia built a lot of confidence. They haven't brought the cup to the UK in 170, what is it, 174 years. They always say it. So for them, it's really epic. So maybe this little energy of the underdog might give them the little spice that gives them the upper hand. So I see Ineos starting strong.
Okay. Well, I think as well they will be also a bit overwhelmed of being in their first campaign in the latest years to get in the finals. So I mean, it's very emotional at some point. I can imagine they are very excited. But New Zealand, I think, is has not shown yet its real potential. I mean,
Yeah,
they
it's very true. I was hearing about speculations that they were not using the actual foils; they would be using during the finals. So let's see if they have some aces up their sleeves.
Yeah, let's see. I'm very curious about the outcome of the first races. Max, really, thank you for this time that you spent with us, and I hope to see you again very soon, both for a race or for a beer. But the options are very.
Maybe both together is the best that could happen. No.
Well, we shouldn't say to people that when you do a regatta, there are always beers around.
Well, after the race, of course.
Yeah.
After we're done protesting each other.
Yeah. Well, even while protesting.
Yes. Yeah. That would be a good protest.
Well, thank you a lot and see you soon.
Ciao, Matteo. Thank you.